What if I told you you could turn a 2-bed property into a 6-bed HMO? Now you'd probably tell me to go and give my head a wobble, but you actually can. And in today's video, we're going to go through a full walkthrough around one of these projects. In today's video, you can expect to learn how moving the staircase and front door can be a game changer for the layout, the secret method to getting the most out of your loft space, and how adding small extensions can create massive studio HMO rooms. And to top it all off, you can actually start getting your builder to find these deals for you as well. So it's an absolute no-brainer. Hi guys, I'm Jim. And along with my brother Dan, we have a small property portfolio. And we also help people build their portfolios up in the Northwest, completely hands-free. This channel is going to document my learning and experience about what property investing is actually like on the ground. So if you're interested in growing your own portfolio and learning more about property, please hit the subscribe button. Now this is Dan's debut in front of the camera on the channel, so let's jump straight into it.
There's a point to talk about spray paint rather than rollers.
Mist coat, so they mist coat it, mist coat it with white and then they'll paint over that with rollers.
It's much quicker.
Quicker, better, probably cheaper.
So new staircase?
Yeah, new staircase. We actually moved the staircase as well, so relocated it. So it's a spiral staircase all in the middle of the house, which we'll start on this floor, which I don't see many people doing. This is
Watch these lids, they're standing on. Not the New Balance.
New Balance crew.
They'll soon be called Old Balance.
Yeah, so this house, when we was developing that one, this one come up for sale, roughly the same price. I think this one was 180, very similar square meterage. We had the choice on that one to keep it as the same layout as that one, where you walk in, you've got your hallway, you go up the stairs straight in front of you, then you've got your bedroom, communal and kitchen. Bedroom, communal and bedroom. But on here, went for something a little bit different. We've spent a little bit more money by relocating the staircase to the centre of the house, moving the entrance, so where we came from, that's going to be the studio entrance. That's a bedroom we walk straight into. The new entrance is actually on the side of the house. There was nothing there before, but we've relocated it. So then they'll walk straight in, they'll be at the bottom of the stairs, we'll have the communal. And by doing that, it's allowed us more space in the bedrooms. It's allowed us to tuck the en-suites behind the staircase. We've lowered the floor, we've done an L-shaped dormer, we've done an extension to the back. So we've still got 6 bedrooms. We've still got 4 studios, but they're a lot more space.
So in terms of strategy then, is this one of the more complicated builds because of all of that?
Yeah, 100%. I don't see many people doing this strategy in terms of the floor plan of the house. Usually we would utilise this on a house which is a lot smaller. So if you've got a 2-bedroom house, it's around 75 square metres and you walk straight in the entrance, and when you go through the front door, you're in the living room. A lot of developers look at them floor plans and they're like, it's just too small. 75 square metres, not going to work. You're walking straight into the house, into a living room, it's not going to work. So that's when we would utilise this strategy of relocating the staircase. And that's how we make the 75 square metre smaller houses work. We do spend more on the refurb, but we're generally getting the houses a lot cheaper. So not a lot of people are picking up on these types of properties, and we're getting them cheap and still managing to get 6 rooms and making them really spacious.
And I guess one of the selling points of this room is it's got 2 windows, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Which, you know, isn't necessarily common for HMO rooms, is it?
No. Yeah, we've got not a lot of natural light here. It's just the old style Victorian houses usually come with the 2 windows, but a lot of the older style of HMOs, what you'll find is this room here on the front is sometimes split, and they'll sometimes put a partition wall here and they'll have 2 small bedrooms. Now that might work in some areas, but to me the smaller bedrooms about the en-suites are the old style of HMOs, and it's sort of like moving forward a little bit now. So we work with 2 architects.
That was a question I had when we started working with you, or we were looking through the plans. You know, I kind of like floor plans and dimensions and things. I thought, well, why do you guys choose to use different architects? Split the risk, you know, not always have your eggs in one basket.
So we've got 2 really good architects. One of them we've been working with for many years, and it's so important to use a HMO specialist when it comes to architects, right? Because they've got to know the regs in and out. To me, they've got to be looking at HMOs day in, day out, and not just doing extensions and loft conversions and then doing the odd HMO. Especially when it comes to maximising the space, they do floor plans day in, day out. They see floor plans all day long, so they know what's best. We've got 2 because our first one specialises more in the older style Victorian houses. The second one specialises more on the smaller houses where we do the spiral staircase. But again, I mean, sometimes it's a case of not putting all of our eggs in one basket and using one specialist. It's good to use multiple.
We mentioned about power team and architects. How, you know, here it's clear that there is a very specialist job around the staircase. You know, it's woodwork, it's spiraled, it's it's in the middle of the house.
Yep.
Tolerances are going to be tight. How close is that link between what the architect's doing on here and which joiner you use and which builder you use?
Very, very important. Again, we use a HMO specialist when it comes to architects, but they've also got to be a specialist builder, a HMO specialist builder. So a lot of people that we know and a lot of when our mentees come on board, they'll say, oh, we've got this builder we want to work with. They haven't done HMOs before, but we think they'll be really good. Now, they might be really good, but do you really want to take that risk? So for us, the builders that we work with have done hundreds of HMOs, and they've got to be really good at following the floor plans, because when it comes to stuff like the spiral staircase, you get that wrong, the whole house is going to be wrong.
And is that kind of manufactured off-site based on architect's drawings and then assembled on-site, or how much of it is done on-site in comparison to, you know, these drawings going away to a machine shop for it to be fitted out?
Yeah, so we will drop all of the floors. When we do the spiral staircase, we'll drop all of the floors. So when you walk into the house, it will be a shell. So you look up and you'll see the roof, and it's like a church. So what the builders will do is they'll drop the floors, get the floors to the right height according to our floor plans, and then what they'll do is they'll measure the space for the stairs, and then they'll send it off to a staircase specialist who will come in and they'll come fitted IDR and they'll just fit them. So they'll be built off-site, brought in on-site, and then they'll be installed on-site according to where we drop our floors to.
Fantastic room. And the square footage of this?
Square footage of this one is 15 square meters. Yeah. So as you can see here, this is where we came through, right? So this was the old entrance, which is now still a door, but it's a door to this studio down here. When we do this spiral staircase, we're using every single square meter of the house. The only bits that are getting wasted is the 2 square meters on each hallway, on each landing. In Cyril, if you can remember, as you walk in, there's 5 or 6 square meters there, which is wasted. Then you go on the first floor, and there's another 5 or 6 square meters wasted. So here, we're just making the most of every single square meter. Quite rare. And if you are in an old Victorian house, you may not have to utilize everything. Yeah. But when you are working with a smaller house, that's when you've got to make the most of it. So.
And this is first floor in the middle.
This is first floor in the middle where we are.
So bed over there.
No. So good point. Our architect actually designed it so the kitchens was on this side of the room. Yeah. However, if there's a fire, we do put escape windows in anyway, so these are going to be changed as well. However, if there's a fire, the tenant has to walk through the hazard route to exit the room. So what we've done is we've swapped the kitchens around. The kitchens are now on the opposite side to the exit route.
And that's because this is the bigger window and it needs to be bigger to be the fire escape window. Yeah. Therefore, the bed needs to be that side. Yeah. Yeah.
So this will need to be changed. It will need to open from the bottom and it needs to be a latch. So in case there's a fire, they can jump straight out accordingly. But again, built-in wardrobes. Yeah. Nice size ensuite.
Just on the built-in wardrobe then, you said that was £300.
Yeah.
So, you know, by the time you've even messed about getting a PAX from IKEA, you paid someone to set it up. Like Ray was saying before, big coats, starts to bulge. Yeah. You might as well just have the space, mightn't you?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
I think they just look premium.
Neater, much neater, yeah.
Yeah, these ones will actually have a door in as well. Yeah, there's a frame.
Doors on this one.
Greg discussed it with us at the start.
I prefer the doors on.
As you can see, we've got really good communication. We know what's going on.
You've just split the roles really well.
Wow. This feels deep, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is a nice one.
So kitchen along there. So it is, I mean, it's not separated, but it's like a different part of the room. So the bed's going to be there, bedside lamp side. Kitchen's going to run there, and then we've got the ensuite there with a built-in wardrobe here.
I think this one feels separated.
It just by the L shape, doesn't it? Yeah.
There's that wall there. I think this will be one of the first to go. Well, I think the first one will be downstairs one.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, we'll show you that. It's really big.
And then in terms of central heating then, you're opting for plastic rather than copper pipe. Easier installation, easier maintenance.
Quicker, cheaper. In terms of maintenance, I'll be honest, I'm unsure. It's just something we've always done. What you'll find is most builders don't want to do copper anymore. No. And copper's super expensive now. Yeah. And even like every new build that goes up nowadays, I don't think it's copper, right? It's all plastic.
Even our own home refurb we're doing now, the builders have just put plastic in.
Yeah. So it's very rare you'll find any developer, any HMO developer use copper, unless they specifically say it to the builder that's what they want to use, which is going to add on a lot of cost. Maybe it's going to last a bit longer, but it's just what gets used nowadays, isn't it? Push fit.
And we got extractor here ready.
External ventilation.
And talk to us about some of the, because when we speak to people about HMOs, the first objection we kind of get is around, oh well, what about fire doors, what about fire alarms? I mean, just going through the last one, you could feel the weight in the fire door. I guess you've got fire alarms. On the pictures you've shown us, you've got fire blankets. How does that process work?
We have a fire risk assessor that will come out once your build's done, so you can speak to them before, and he will make sure you've got everything that you're meant to have. But the building regs and the architect, everything will be done to those standards.
Yeah.
So they know it's a HMO and it's done to those correct standards. When the HMO officer comes out, they will sign everything off. With your HMO regulations, you'll have to have your fire service every 6 months, a new fire risk assessment every year, so you're constantly staying on top of all the new assessments.
But a lot of people don't get into HMOs because they think they've got to know everything. That's when they start looking into all of the building regs, fire regs. Like, we don't know the building regs or fire regs off the back of our hands. We just need to hire the people who do know how to do it. That's why it's important to use a HMO specialist architect, right? Because when we get the stage 4 floor plans, it's going to have all the building control regulations on there. It's going to have all of the fire stuff that we've got to do. So, for example, in a kitchen, you need a heat detector, not a fire detector above it, not a smoke detector above it, because otherwise if you're cooking toast and smoking goes into it, it's going to set it off. So it's always got to be a heat. Always got to have a fire panel downstairs for all the heat detectors and smokes.
Logbook, so all your services can be written down in there, zone charts. But that is what is on your fire risk assessment, and if you've got an agent, they'll do all the checks for you as well.
Also a big one, which not a lot of builders do, but you need it, is obviously with your fire doors, you've got to have your intermittent strip. You've also got to have thumb turn on the inside.
For people to get out.
For people to get out if there's a fire and they've not got the key. On the front and back door as well. But we've had a few builders build it out for us, because it's them little details which are not on the architectural floor plans.
And have you found from project one you were getting that sound advice, or have you found over time you've made a few mistakes and it's been costly and you've arrived at the right power team, or did it just plop on your lap and day one you got the golden goose?
In terms of power team, build teams.
Yeah, build teams have been a struggle, but in terms of making sure everything's up to standard, it's always been that from the start. And I think it's because we've always used a good architect. And I think it helps that we did rent to rent to start with, so we understood HMOs, the regulations, a little bit more than other people maybe.
So on your rent to rent origins, then you were renting it off a landlord and turning it into a HMO, or was it an existing
Most
HMO?
were existing HMOs.
But of course you were going around with the HMO glasses on of, right, what are the fire regs, is it up to standard, what's the fire door?
And we did a few where it was a 3-bed to a 4-bed. And we'd still make sure it was up to HMO regs, even for those other ones.
But in terms of build teams, we've had to kiss some frogs. Finally, after 5 years, come to the right. We've got 3 really good build teams now who we don't even need to pick up the keys. They'll pick up the keys when we're complete on the house, and they'll just kickstart the refurb straight away. So we've got a lot of trust in them. But that takes a long time.
You can see that today. You know, we're here on a Saturday. The guys are let themselves in. They're here. They're working. You can see the concrete being mixed at the last plate, paint being sprayed here. It's obviously an empowered team who are doing the work.
Absolutely. And to be fair, we didn't know. When I turned up at the last place, I was like, shit, there's someone here. Someone broke in. But that's because we've got a lot of trust in the power team, and they know if they're behind, they've got to get people on site and push the job along.
I think the main lesson for us when it's come to builders is we had builders where we trusted them too much, gave them more than one project at the same time. They couldn't handle it, and that's where issues arose for us.
Because a lot of builders, and they're not as business minded as us. So like when this builder took one on for us, and he'd done a really good job, we said, can you handle more? And he said, yeah, I got all the lads, of course I can handle more. So we made a massive mistake and said, here's sit.
Oh, I was thinking of the builder before that, where we made the same mistake.
Let's not talk about that one.
But I guess that's down to what we were discussing before, and a conversation me and Jim have a lot, is people naturally will want to say yes to you. They'll naturally want to take on the work, and they probably think they can do it. They're not doing it maliciously, but it's back down to the point about the Friday check-in. Is the plan there? Are we on plan? You know, there's no falling out around it. We've got a plan here, and are we on track or are we off track? No emotions about it. It's a business, and sometimes, you know, the builders are busy. They're doing lots of things. They don't like the planning side of it. They just want to get on. So how many projects have you got on the go? You've got your own home refurb going on. The one we've just been to.
So there's 7 in total. One of them's our own home, and we've got 3 in conveyancing, which we've just had architectural plans for and stuff like that.
Plus all your mentoring stuff at the same time. So there's a lot on.
My head's ready to explode. There's a lot going on.
The builds, people always say, oh my god, that's loads. It almost becomes easier. It sounds weird, but it becomes easier the more you have. Because you've built a power team that you can trust. And if you do one, all your energy's focused on that. So there's one issue, it's like, oh my God, that issue's there. Oh, but if you've got 6 going on, it's like, right, okay, well, we'll sort that. These are going well. So
you lean on your power team for solutions more.
It's so much easier when you've got more builds going on, but you're with good builders.
And is there any differentiation because you've got your own home going, and that's obviously you've done a lot of business stuff, you've done the rent-to-rents, you're doing these, but now you've got a major refurb going on at home. Is that a slightly different part of your mind that's looking at that, or do you apply the same logic as these?
No, that is totally different. There's no budget.
There is a budget. She says there's no budget. There is. You've just gone over it by 2. She's doubled the budget for some reason. Every time I say to her, Ray, think about the budget, she says, don't mention that B word around me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like,
what you're saying is it's not growing black.
Our own home, I think it jokes so many emotions tied to it. It's like even one tiny thing that would never bother us on a HMO, I'm up all night. Because we just want it to be right, don't we?
So from a bandwidth point of view, when that's done for you, it'll be that's almost worth 10 HMOs because it's your own.
It does feel like that.
But you guys will find that doing more projects is less stressful because you're going to have a stress anyway, right? You either have the stress of the most projects or you have stress on one project, but that stress on that project is not just the project, but it's also, I'm not growing quick enough. That's me thinking I'm not growing quick enough is more stressful than growing too quick and having a lot of projects on the go. There's nothing worse than thinking I've not got enough in my pipeline, I've not got nothing accepted, I've not got too much in refurb. Feel like, I'm not raising enough cash. Feeling like you're not doing good enough, I'd much prefer to have a lot on and be stressed about all of them rather than thinking I've got more potential than this.
Wow, good insight. So we done the L section room.
This is the L section room. Now we want to show you the L-shaped dormer.
Wow.
This is what not a lot of people are actually utilising. So as you can see from here, we've extended here. No, you can't. We'll take your hand. We'll take your hand.
There's been a sandstorm in the Midlands.
You've got a good outrigger downstairs and it's replicated upstairs. You can replicate the first floor onto the top floor where the dormer goes, and it's more or less just the same all the way down then. But we've not actually done many of the L shapes, and even a lot of the builders that we're approaching, they haven't done many of them, so it's actually been hard to find a builder who's experienced with doing that. So they've been around for a long time, the L-shaped dormers, but not many people do them, and especially for HMOs, they just do the normal standard dormer.
Is that because of the work involved on the roof with?
I think it is, and I think it is because people are unexperienced with that because they're not that common, so not a lot of builders have actually done them. But to actually extend above there, as well as that roof, you may be paying an extra 7 or 8 grand, but as you can see for the space that you're creating, it can be well worth it. Again, if we haven't got to do the L shape, we'll save that cost and just do the normal dormer like we did on the project you've just seen.
How long did the staircase take to install? You can see I'm a bit obsessed about this staircase.
1 day.
Was it?
1 day.
Really?
Yeah, one day.
Wow.
Yeah, so I turned up on a Tuesday showing some mentees around the project, and then it wasn't in, so we had to climb up some ladders, and Ray was climbing up ladders, I had to hold him, and obviously I was wobbling them like that. And then I came the next day and it was in, I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
It was really
quick. Which shows the value of the architect, the value of measuring it right, meant the installation went smoothly.
Big time,
So L-shaped dormer?
L-shaped dormer, so as you can see here, a normal dormer would just go above the original roof. However, the L-shape is actually going above the bathroom outrigger as well. So it just creates a lot more space up here, and it kind of replicates the space on the first floor.
And I guess one of the advantages with this is you're creating a lot of external walls for downpipes, for ventilation. Rather than being hemmed in on a normal kind of terrace, you've got 3 faces.
Yep, you are right.
And you know, the ceiling height in this for a dormer is absolutely huge, isn't it?
Yeah, because we dropped the floors.
I mean, me and Justin here, we're over 6 foot.
Yeah.
You can see we can't even touch the. I mean, were you not thinking another floor in it? You know.
Yeah, and that's the key, right? When you do this type of floor space and we'll show you in a minute, we've actually got a really small room which we're a little bit cheesed off about, right? Because
this is something we should have actually thought.
Yeah, because when we got the original floor plans back, the key to doing this kind of floor plan well is by dropping both floors. The reason you drop both floors is because you're creating head height here. Now, you don't really need to create head height on the back because of the dormer squared off. You have to create head height on the front because of the pitch of the roof. So we only dropped this floor that we stood on. We didn't drop the ground floor ceiling. We kept it where it was because we just thought we was going to have enough space and we saved a little bit of cash. However, now it's built out, the room at the front has ended up 2 square meters smaller than what we originally planned if it was to drop both floors.
Which doesn't sound a lot, but it really is a lot when it's such a slope.
I mean, we were saying before, would 2 square meters be a bathroom? Is that roughly?
Usually 2 to 2.5, yeah.
So it's significant enough, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a lot of space that we should have created in that front room. Now we've developed it, it's too late.
Which brings me on to a point you said day one on our call. Guys, you need to be measuring the floor plans when you're going around.
Yeah.
And we've never done that coming from a buy-to-let background. And we've started doing it, and they'll round up and not round down.
Yeah.
And that 2 square meters can be the difference between the ensuite and not.
But you don't need to in a buy-to-let, right? You don't really need to create the square meter.
Yeah.
Whereas every square meter in a HMO needs to be accounted for, so we'll show you the room. It's a little bit small, a bit smaller than what we're used to.
It doesn't look good because there's no furniture in, so it's hard to see where things will go.
But we've still got a built-in wardrobe, we've still got an ensuite. But if we would have dropped ground floor, this floor would have been lower. We would have gained more head height here because the floor would have been there. So I'm 6'5", as Dan said.
We are going to have the bed here, and we do the 4-foot small doubles. So we'll have the bed there. TV is here, so we'll have a swivel, and then we'll still put a desk at the bottom, and probably still even a little chair.
Yeah.
So the 4-foot double, I've heard that a lot when we've spoken to HMO people. Is that 4-foot doubles in it everywhere?
Even if it's a massive room.
Looking at it, tenants would only know if it was a single bed, because you can see clearly that's a single bed, but one that you have 2 pillars next to, they'll think it's a double, and it makes the room look so much bigger.
And the only difference between a small double and a normal double is 6 inch. 6 inches is really big, right?
Well, Justin, what's the plans for that expansive garden?
We always put gravel, so the gravel around the front and side, but I know it sounds horrible taking out the plants and stuff, but it's just so hard to keep it maintained. You've got to have gardeners. I think we'll pull all of that out on the borders, gravel it, and maybe leave the bit of grass that's there. If not, we'll astroturf it. Yeah.
Because I guess the tenants aren't going to be bothered about, pruning the roses, are they?
No, as long as there's a table of chairs out there.
So what we doing here?
This is a studio.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a studio. So
again, the L-shaped studio.
Yeah, we've had to extend for this. So to do like the Lshaped Dma and like this type of layout, you usually do have to do a extension on this side of the house, then an extension from the back, so you have 2.
No,
you can come through. Yeah, you come through. Yeah. Are we okay to interview you while you're
here? You'll be on the internet in 10 minutes.
So yeah, we've extended out both ways. It's crazy, right? We've extended a lot. We've done an Lshaped Dma, and it's all under permitted development rights. Wow. We've maximised what we can do without having to apply for planning permission.
But we still might apply for planning permission to have this as 2 occupants.
Right.
So then we move into the sui generis planning.
And
we're not sure yet.
Talk to us about numbers around that. Then what would you get as if it was one person and if it was a couple?
Well, we were saying this, weren't we, yesterday to someone? We would do maybe £250–300 a month more. The person actually said, "Oh, would you double it?"
Yeah.
We would never do that because all they're using extra is a bit of water, gas and electric. Internet stays the same, everything else stays the same. So that's what we'd do, but we're not sure about even bothering.
It's just a nice big studio, right? And it will be nice for a single tenant because then it is like a mini flat. But what you've also got to take into consideration when you're putting 2 people in a room is you can potentially change the dynamics of the house. There's 2 people in here, the rest of the people might be thinking, oh, I'll have my boyfriend coming over live with me, I'll have my girlfriend. They've got 2 people in their room.
They don't understand that this room's the only one that's allowed. And as well, when it goes to planning, I'm not saying this goes under the radar, but it does a little bit because it's a 6th bed. Neighbour's still here because you talk to her, but as soon as it goes to 7 people, everyone hears about it, and we get it all over Facebook or this. Sometimes it's just not worth the stress.
So this has got a huge back garden. You've extended both outwards and lengthways. How big was the square footage of the extension?
Was here, so we've actually gone out by like 2.5 to 3 meters. And the only extension we've done on the rear bit is just for the ensuite.
Okay.
So this was actually a conservatory here before.
Right.
It had like a block concrete slab, which is I think is still in, but it just didn't have the foundations or anything like that to take the weight of the extension. So yeah, this is kind of classed as brand new. But under permitted development right, priced at we could have went further on the PD rights.
Because you got a big garden.
We could have gone further out the back, From, I think it's 6 metres from the end of your house that you can actually extend, which is under PD rights.
Depending on how big the garden is.
Yeah.
But we definitely could have done that.
Is it the 50% rule? You can't go bigger than 50% of the existing space?
How close the back fence is to you as well. Yeah.
But even if you do go over that 50%, I still don't think it's a full planning application. I think you have to apply for something called prior approval, which is you're doing it under permitted development, but you're just going a little bit further. So it's not a full planning app, it's kind of like in between.
And I guess for us, we kind of know some of these things if we were to talk about them, but kind of knowing a little bit about it and doing it is two completely different things, and you're obviously doing it very successfully in these spaces. So we'd have the kitchen there, bathroom there, and what's the floor space on this? It's absolutely huge, isn't it?
The floor space, 19 square metres,
Wow.
So
will this be your biggest studio?
Yeah, because this one would be 18 for a double occupancy.
Okay.
So yeah, we're a square metre over that.
Yeah, and for us, we just want to provide the best accommodation for tenants, and obviously the bigger rooms you can give them, the better. The longer they're going to stay, the less tenant turnaround you've got. So
they always go quick. If the tenants do leave, you know the rooms get filled quite quickly.
Yeah.
Again, you can feel the ceiling height, you know, expansive above me and Justin, you know.
7 foot. Yeah. But this is where we could have dropped it.
This is where. What would you have needed to drop this by to gain in the loft? Sort of 50 centimetres or something?
Maybe not even that. Between 300 mil to 400, 500 mil, and we've easily got that. We could have dropped it comfortably.
Yeah.
It would have cost us a little bit more
because
all of the joists that are in now are the ones that was already there. Yeah. So we'd have to retake them out and get new joists and put them in, which in hindsight we probably should have done, but that's a big lesson for the next one. And we're already doing the next one of this same style of this.
And we've already lowered the floors.
We've already lowered the floors. We've said to the builder that's the first one we've got to do.
Yeah, lesson learned.
How far away are we on this, you think?
7 weeks.
7 weeks?
Roughly around 7 weeks out on here, We've actually got the skirting and some of the second fix joinery going in next week.
They've actually started it a bit upstairs, I saw it.
Yeah.
Wardrobes.
Yeah, and the same builder who's doing this one is actually doing another one for us, Porno.
Yeah.
So yeah, very good, trusted, reliable people.
Yeah,
and also,
really happy with these.
the good thing with this builder as well is he obviously wants work, right? And we want to give it him because they are really good. But he will purposely speak to the neighbours and see if they want to sell. So the other one he's doing, the neighbour told him they wanted to sell, so he got their number, gave it us, and said, look, if you get it, can I have it? So we went and viewed it and we put an offer in. Same with this one. Next door now want to sell. So he purposely got their number, and I went round and I've spoke to him and potentially going to be putting an offer in for that one as well.
So your builder is also your direct to vendor
agent. But it's good that they're good at talking to people, right? Because like if we've got to do any scaffolding on their side of the wall or create any damage or anything like that, it's good that they've got a good relationship.
Yeah, they're likeable, nice. You can say, look, sorry, we'll get this work fixed for you.
Because a lot of the neighbours will not like me and Ray because of what we're doing to these houses. They just won't, honestly.
Well, that's the mantra of landlords, isn't it?
Yeah.
And people who own houses, you know, they're coming in and they're going to have horrible people here, and it's going to be a horrible place, and they're just in it to make money. And you know, you see it on Facebook all the time. Someone will post a room or a new house, and you'll get people who, I want to have a look, and the other people will be, well, not paying that for, you know, that's no way. That's
two-bed house, rent it for this,
Yeah.
But that's why next door said they potentially want to sell, because, and they was honest with me, they was open, and they said, we just don't want to live next door to a HMO. And they said, we know you're the developer, but we just don't want to. So I said, okay, no problem.
You did say to them, look, just wait until the house is done and the tenants have moved in, and trust me, you won't have an issue.
Do you take your neighbours round once it's done?
We have done in the past.
She said she wants to have a look round.
Yeah, we have done in the past. One where they had a big say no to HMO campaign offers. Around the corner, the neighbours heard about this and spoke to us, and one side was actually lovely, weren't they? And we said, look, relax, when it's done, man, look, she came on and honestly she was gobsmacked. She could not believe it, and we've never heard from them since. Very
similar story on our buy to let. You know, we were doing a lot of work, rewire, lots of people you know, we did it to a nice standard, and you know, neighbours who want to know what's going, we said come and have a look, and they were going around. Wow, lads, you know, you have worked hard here, and it's good, but it pays to just that 10 minutes, because then they go and talk to Doris, who lives 4 doors. Those lads have done a good job on that, and the same here.
Winning a move, right?
Because I think they think what HMO used to be. They think
Bed sit, aren't they? Yeah.
How much you say to them, to be blue in the face, it's not like that. We're spending this much, it's going to professional tenants. Until they actually see it with their own eyes. I think as well, those neighbours especially was thinking kitchenette, and they was thinking like the bed sit.
The old school,
nice. As soon as they go around, she was like, have you got a room for myself?
Yeah.
She was thinking, this is amazing.
This is the communal. So in here we're going to have the kitchen running along there, and we're going to have a breakfast bar running along the whole side there where you are. TV up on the wall there. You don't need any natural light in a communal. We like to provide natural light as much as we can. Yeah, we're going to have spotlights everywhere. Yeah. But when you are doing this type of layout, it's hard because you have to put a window usually in this room unless you put another door there. And because we've moved the entrance to the side, that's why it's sort of like hard to get any natural lighting in the communal. But yeah, we pulled a new water pipe into here as well.
So how many studios have we got in here?
4.
And how many en suites?
2.
2, so it's only really...
This is just the 2 people cooking facilities,
yeah.
So it looks quite small, but when it is 2 people, it's more than that.
And
it's bigger than our kitchen at home.
Yeah, it is, genuinely, yeah.
What about washing machine, that kind of thing? Where does that typically go?
That will be in here as well, yeah. 6 tenants will have 2 washer dryers.
Great.
5 panel electrical fuse boards there. And then this was the old entrance. So when we viewed it, this was a living room here and then a hallway going up there to some stairs. But this is now a studio, and the good thing is they've got their own entrance. So the only time they ever... so it's really kind of... It can be classed as self-contained if that's how you want to look at it.
Will that push a premium on the price?
Yeah. So this one and the one at the back, so they're all quite big studios here because we've moved the staircase, but this one and the one at the back will probably fetch the most. Because these never have to go through the rest of the house for anything unless they want to obviously wash their clothes. But in terms of like cooking facilities and stuff, they'll just be in and out of there.
Did you do some quick numbers on this one then?
This one was a purchase of, it was between 180 and 185. I mean, I should know the basic purchase price, shouldn't I really? But I think it was around 182. The build on this one has been 182, including VAT, which is 5% on HMO conversions. The fees on this one again have been between 20 and 25k, which is interest, upfront costs, solicitors and stuff like that. And this one will refinance around 495 to 500, which is a little bit more than the one that we've just seen. Although it's a similar product, we are going to achieve more for the rooms, and the rooms are bigger, so there's more square meterage, so it will be that little bit more valuable.
So what will that be, money left in?
Money left in will be between 30 and 40k, which we don't mind. It is our criteria. What you've got to think about is if you've got 5 deals on, like we've got 6 at the minute in refurb HMOs, if you're leaving 30 or 40 grand in every single one of them, then it's like 150 to 180 grand that you're leaving in. Now, we've purchased them and we'll be refinancing them within like an 8-month period. So if we continue to do that, we're leaving in a lot of money over the years. If we have got a few of these deals on that are leaving in 30 or 40 grand, we do also like to put a lot of time and focus into getting them unicorns, which are leaving in maybe 10 or money out.
And the property that we've got the planning accepted on could potentially pull out 40k. So we don't necessarily want to pull it out, but if we have to,
it offsets.
It offsets leaving some in another deal.
So you're viewing that more of as a portfolio view. Whereas obviously if you pull out 40k, your cash flow on that property is gonna drop, but it's going to be looked after. And it's going to be looked after by this. So what would this cash flow, do you think?
It will be a little bit higher than the other one, so between 17 and 19k net a year. But it's interesting what you said on the portfolio, because if we are leaving in, like the quicker you scale and the more you get, the easier it becomes, because we're leaving in 40k on this deal, but our portfolio nets 10 grand a month. It takes 4 months for the whole portfolio to then pay off the investors. So if you are leaving in a little bit of money, like it's so easy to pay off investors, it's just the initial few, which is hard, and you've got to put a strategy in place for to pay back your investors.
So from a timeline point of view on this, from purchase or offer accepted to complete to tenants in to that 4-month period of all money out, how long are we talking?
Usually you can refinance, this will be being refinanced from completion to refinance landing, it will be 7 months. The build will be done in 4.5 months. That gives us 2.5 months for the refinance. But we used to refinance them in like 4 or 5 weeks. From the value we're visiting, money used to be landing in the bank after like 4 or 5 weeks. It all depends on how quick the lender can move, the legals, the valuer. So it's like you've got to really nail down the refinance, and and make sure you get it smooth, so you're giving yourself the best chance to get off that brig.
So from offer accepted to all your money back to netting 1,900 a month, within 18 months, that's all happening, right? Wow, 18 months from coming in, making an offer, So all money out and cash flow 1900.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like a lot of people who come to me, they know we've done rent to rent, right? And obviously they come to me asking for mentorship, and they always say, I want to focus on rent to rent first because I want to get quickly cash flow in. And I say, well, you're going to be in the same situation, right? Because you've got to put money into a rent to rent. Usually, when it comes to rent to rent, you want your money back out after 6 or 9 months, and then you are positively cash flowing. Something like a HMO, it's an all money out deal. Find it, you've got 3 months conveyancing, you've got 4.5 months to 5 months during the build, you then got 2 or 3 months on the refinance. After 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 months, it can be net positively cash flowing if it's all money out. So although rent to rent looks better and it can sometimes be quicker, it's not actually that far. A purchased HMO can be the same cash flowing.
Putting in though.
Yeah, it's the original cash injection, but
it might be 6 grand into a rent to rent.
Whereas one of these is
6 grand into a HMO.
But you own the asset, don't you?
Yeah.
That's the big.
But people are scared of raising funds. People are scared of raising finance, but you've got to get good at it because finding these deals is easier. Honestly, it's easy. If we had an investor tomorrow approach us and say, here's £1 million, we wouldn't say, oh, wait until we've got deals. We'd say, here's our bank details. We'll take it. I guarantee within 2 or 3 weeks we'll have 8 or 9 offers accepted. Finding deals is the easy part. Finding money is always going to be a little bit tricky, so you've got to practice and you've got to get good at it.
This is actually the second walk around we did with Justin and Ray when we spent the whole day with them. Now I'll link the first walk around on screen now and in the description below. That wasn't a 2-bed, that was more of a standard Victorian, but still a really good project to look at. If you want to connect with Justin and Ray, I'll link their Instagram details on screen and in the description below as well. Hope you guys enjoyed that mind-blowing walk around. Any comments or questions, please let me know down below and we'll get back to you. Make sure to subscribe and see you in the next video, guys. Cheers.